The history of the French language is long and fascinating. The events that shaped the language are relevant even today. Since French is such a major language worldwide, it's worth looking at its origins, history, and roots. The location of modern-day France used to be part of a larger region occupied by Gauls, who spoke a type of Celtic language. Other ethnic tribes and linguistic groups also occupied the region. Later, Romans conquered the Gauls and the region was eventually annexed to the Roman Empire in 52 BC. Since the Romans spoke Vulgar Latin, they required the Gauls also to speak Latin, which resulted in a Latin mixed with Celtic words. In the 3rd century, Western Europe suffered an invasion by various tribes from Germany, with several groups settling in northern France. The Franks imposed the use of their own Frankish language. This had a major impact on the already diluted Latin that they already spoke in the region. If you ever wondered why French sounds so different from other Romance languages, the answer is the Frank invasion. The arrival of the Franks had a major influence on the evolution of the French language we know today. While they allowed the use of Latin, they enforced the use of their own patterns of usage and stress patterns on the local language. While French remained a Romance language thanks to its Latin origins, the sound patterns were forever changed from others in its language family. The evolution of the French language is fast and drastic. In capsule form, the French language has various stages which are as follows. From the 5th to the 8th centuries, French had a Gallo-Romance influence, which is a combination of Vulgar Latin and Gaulish. During the period of 9th to 13th centuries, the language was primarily Old French, which sprung from the Northern Gaul dialects. It became a distinct language with its own grammar. 14th to 15th centuries was the period of Middle French, where the changes in grammar and pronunciation occurred. Middle French evolved from the French dialect spoken in the Ile-de-France area. 16th century was the period of development of early modern French. Users were trying to raise the language to the same level as Latin for literary pursuits. This is also the period when French became the official language of the government. The period from 17th to 18th century was called the era of classical modern French. It fixed the key grammar conventions leading to modern French. It's the time when French was an international language due to the country's expansion of its colonies. Finally, 19th century was the period of contemporary modern French. It was the time for fixing the pronunciation we know today. They declared standardized French as the official language of France, as well as the colonized regions in Africa and Belgium. Modern-day French comes from a mixture of Celtic, Latin, and Germanic roots. Each language made several contributions to the French vocabulary. Several other languages contributed to the enrichment of the French lexicon. French is the 3rd most widely spoken language in the EU after English and German. Under the Constitution of France, French has been the official language of the Republic since 1992. France mandates the use of French in official government publications, public education, except in specific cases and legal contracts. In Belgium, French is an official language at the federal level along with Dutch and German. French is one of the 4 official languages of Switzerland and is spoken in the western part of Switzerland. French is also one of the 3 official languages of Luxembourg, where it is generally the preferred language of business as well as of the different public administrations. French is also the official language of Monaco. The majority of the world's French-speaking population lives in Africa. An estimated 141 million African people spread across 34 countries and territories can speak French. It is mostly a second language in Africa, but it has become a first language in some urban areas. Sub-Saharan Africa is the region where the French language is most likely to expand, because of the expansion of education and rapid population growth. It is also where the language has evolved the most in recent years. French is the second most common language in Canada after English, and both are official languages at the federal level. It is the first language of 9.5 million people, or 29% of the entire population, and the second language for 2.07 million, or 6% of the population of Canada. French is the fourth most spoken language in the United States after English, Spanish, and Chinese. French was the official language of the colony of French Indochina, comprising of modern-day Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. It continues to be an administrative language in Laos and Cambodia, although its influence has waned in recent decades. French was the official language of French India, consisting of the geographically separate enclave referred to as Puducherry. It continued to be an official language of the territory even after its secession to India in 1956 until 1965. A small number of older locals still retain knowledge of the language, although it has now given way to Tamil and English. Today, French is an official language in 29 countries across multiple continents. French is also one of the 6 official languages used in the United Nations. It is a very interesting language to study and read. So if given an opportunity to learn this language, one should never miss out.